Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm gonna keep this fast and simple. This is the Star Seeker in level 150 NG plus 3 build. The stats are on the right. We're gonna get into Roger's Magic Rapier plus 25 using Glint Blade Phalanx. As long as you can get that Ash of War on any weapon, you are good to go. Moving on, of course, we have the Lucas Glinson Staff plus 10. Pretty useful, to be honest. And the Golden Seal Order, of course, weighs 0 with AA scaling, so this is the best seal to have for this build. Spell Blades, full set except for the gloves. You should go for the full set because it does give you a bonus to Glintstone sorceries. Dragon Crest Grey Shield Talisman doesn't really need much explaining. This is what I used to beat the game, the last boss, but we will get into what else you can use other than what you see here, of course. We have, let's see, I believe that Radagon's icon is really good as well. You can go for Godfrey's icon. You do charge a lot of spells, so it would make sense to do that. And of course, Flock's Canvas Talisman doesn't need explaining. Same thing for the Graven Mask Talisman. You can use those two. And Magic Scorpion Charm usually is the loadout that I have, those two Graven Talismans and the two Scorpion Charms, the Magic and the Sacred one. Together, you'll be taking a lot more damage this way, but you'll be dishing out a lot more damage. This is what I used throughout most of the playthrough, but not for the final boss, as I just kind of like wanted to be able to survive a bit, as it was the last boss and I don't want to waste too much time on it. Anyways, guys, let's get into the skills, or the spells rather. As you can see, we have some buffs here. Of course, Golden Vow, Black Flame's Protection, and then the offensive spells are Elden Star and Triple Rings of Light. You can go for Radagon's Ring of Light as well. Founding Rain of Stars, I utilize it. I actually like the spell quite a lot. Glintstone Stars, and I believe the other one is called Star Shower. Yes, and those two are better. The Star Shower is better than the Stars of Ruin, to be honest. Stars of Ruin needs help, but I'm not sure how they're gonna do that. Anyways, guys, this is pretty much it. We're gonna get ready pretty soon to watch the build guide itself, but again, if you look at Star Shower and Stars of Ruin, you can see the difference in intelligence requirement and FP cost. And Star Shower, by the way, guys, does more damage than Stars of Ruin and costs less. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Yeah, before we move on to the build guide itself, these are some, honorable mentions. Top's Barrier, Loretta's Great Bow, and of course, where is it? Radagon's Ring of Light. I really like this one as well. So those are your main options. That's what I personally chose, but feel free to go for whatever you would like. Anyways, guys, let's get into the build guide, and we'll start it off with Godric. I actually forgot to record one boss fight, and that is only Margit. Thank God it's only Margit. Anyways, moving on, as you can see, we start the battle with using Triple Rings of Light, using Elden Stars. You want to maintain your distance when casting Elden Stars, and then after you cast it, you probably want to rush in and try to cast Founding Rain of Stars. If you can do that and get them both to damage your foe, you will have a pretty good chance of stance breaking any boss, especially with the Glint Blade Phalanx Ash of War. Do not forget, you do not have to use Roger's Rapier here. You can go for any weapon that can use this Ash of War, but I went for it since I was pretty much wearing his whole set almost, except for the gloves, which I should have done, but I didn't. However, you should if you want to deal more damage using the Glintstone sorceries. And as you can see here, I just went away from the fire and let Elden Stars finish the fight for me. Moving on from the Lord of all that is golden to Renella. So Renella, As you can see, I use Radagon's Ring of Light, wiping any of those little children of hers around me, like, breathing fire and stuff. And then I almost one-phase her here, but I had to attempt it again, unfortunately. However, as you can see, that Radagon's Ring of Light was doing massive damage. Here, we started off some triple rings of light, of course some buffs, and you can use some of your melee attacks as well. Now, the triple rings of light are not, advised if you are trying to fight single creatures. If you are fighting bigger creatures or multiple enemies at a time, then that is when I would use it. And Elden Stars, as you can see, guys, her a moon sorcery there just absorbed everything. So you want to try to get lucky, because like you can't tell what spell she's going to use next. All you can do is react to it, right? So if you can get lucky and get the whole duration off of Elden Stars, it does alright damage. And as you can see there, it only did like 500 damage, which is not that good. But sometimes it does more damage, and it really is a nice spell to cast from far away as you close in the distance and combine it with other spells. See it as a support spell and not a damage dealing spell. A support spell that is mainly there to help you deal chip damage while you deal your main source of damage at the same time. And that actually can lead to quite a lot of stance breaks. So keep that in mind. So now we finished her off with an Elden Stars. We finished 2 bosses so far. I'm going to try to finish most of them off using Elden Stars or the Founding Grain of Stars, as those are the 2 main sorceries, and the Glintblade Phalanx. That's an Ash of War, an incantation, and a sorcery. Those 3 together are actually really annoying. I'm not sure how they would turn out in PvP, but I'm pretty sure they would still be annoying. Anyways, I got lucky there. He almost kills me, but gets his stance broken, so I got lucky again. Here you just rolled through his little attack there and just finished him off with a Founding Rain of Stars. Like I said, I tried to do that with most of the bosses, guys. Let's see. Here against Morgoth. This was my fastest fight throughout the whole playthrough, guys. Yeah, I believe like he went down like in a minute or so. As you can see, we just entered and he's already in phase transition. And here I realized that I just want to have a lot of mana or FP, so I didn't go for any offensive spells. And here when you cast down a Grain of Stars, this is the best way to use it, is to try to kite the enemy within the area of those clouds. You want to make sure they remain under the clouds while you kite them and fight them. Here, larger targets, as you can see, and I believe the Fire Giant is weak to magic anyways, so as you can see, 5, 7, 8, 9k damage. Oh, he just hit 10, and it's like really fast. Again, you just use it and you can leave it, run far, cast an Elden Stars, and just be really annoying throughout the whole playthrough. You can do that to any boss. Of course, the ones that are a bit quicker might not, might not get defeated as easily using these spells, but the bigger, slower bosses definitely will have a hard time against this build, guys. So as you can see, we're already phase transitioned here. Phase 2, I go again for Founding Grain of Stars. This is the way you want to use it. You want to be like right under him. I mean, it did like at least 1200 damage there. And then I used it again, and we're talking about almost 2400. Here I use it, but again, you really want to be right under him. The fact that he just bent his back like that kind of helped out a lot, made sure that he took a lot more damage. Like right here, see, he's like on the edge of the spell's proximity or the spell's radius, and did not take as much damage. But then he eventually woke, and he stood up or tried at least getting up, since he doesn't have a leg now. He's like crawling around and stuff. But that's the way you want to cast it. You want to make sure you are like directly under him. Like what I just did right now, it's barely going to do damage, but I get lucky again and he slams himself into the cloud, into the sorcery, but towards the very end, unfortunately. So this is exactly how you want to use it. You want to be directly under them. And there's a really nice thing about the Founding Rain of Stars that you will see pretty soon. And that is, bosses, enemies, generally speaking, do not react to it. It's like you're not casting a spell. They just continue walking to you. And that can be a very powerful tool if you know how to use it properly. Just like, when to use it and how to use it. And here it doesn't really matter against the Fire Giant, because he's not one of those bosses who's just going to react to your, attacks. He just kind of is a mindless ogre that's just going to go in there and try to attack you regardless of what you're doing. Unlike, let's say, Malenia, where she'll do that temp claw for a while if you're not attacking her, and she won't do anything, she'll be in that like idle state or something like that. So yeah, and as you can see here, guys, another boss gets finished off with an Elden Stars. I'm telling you, Elden Stars is really nice. If you just want to kite a boss, you have a lot of FP. Since most of your spells here, they do consume a lot, and you want to make sure that you have at least 30 points into mind, just to make sure you can cast as much as you want without having to drink a cerulean flask too often. You can see here, guys, do not forget to abuse your Glintblade Phalanx with your Elden Stars and Founding Rain of Stars. Together, they're really good. And right there's a follow-up to this Ash of War. If you cast the Ash of War and you follow it up with an R2, your charged attack, immediately, you have to do it really fast, you will do like a supercharged heavy attack, as you can see right there. And it's really nice. See, again, I do it, and then I show you right now, if you don't do it, what happens. You do a double attack, a double head combo, two head combo. But here, I go for it again. It does really good poise damage as well. So this build is pretty solid, to be honest. The only downside is the fact that you have 30 vigor. That's the only thing I don't like about it, but like, it's not a big deal if it's not your first build, it's not your first playthrough. As long as you have experience doing this in this game, killing these bosses, dealing with them, then you can go for this build and probably enjoy it quite a lot. I'm not sure how it would perform again in PvP, but it seems like it would be really annoying and just hard to deal with, even though it's not the most damage dealing build out there. And that's the whole point. I didn't want it to be a damage dealing build, as there are plenty of those out there. I just wanted to have a special, unique build that is annoying and that utilizes all of the stars, spells and incantations, sorceries together. And this is the one I came up with, and using Roger's the spellbound armor set and all of that just made a lot of sense to me. Of course, you can wear whatever you want, but I just did it for the theme and nothing else, guys. This is why I didn't care if I have the spellbound gloves, because I wasn't really going for the bonus damage. And as you saw, my talismans when I beat Radagon and the Elden Beast, I was going for some defensive stuff, some stuff that would, the filigree crest, that just makes you consume less FP when casting spells, incantations, or just anything. So this is what the build is really about. It's about being annoying and not worrying about having to deal a large amount of damage, in a short period of time. It's just about kiting and being annoying the whole way through while you deal damage. And again, guys, this is one of the most interesting builds I've had, in the sense that I really didn't know how it was going to turn out because I heard so many bad things about Elden Stars, and I've tried it once on my Golden Guardian, and it didn't perform as well as here, to be honest with you guys. But again, I do have a higher investment into, of course, faith and intelligence here, so I am dealing more damage. My talismans are mainly damage dealing talismans, except against Radagon and Elden Beast. I went for some defensive stuff and utility stuff, like, of course, the Green Turtle Talisman and Filigree Crest. So, as you can see, guys, against Malenia, I was very cautious, I was very careful. It was my longest battle out of all the bosses, mainly due to the fact, again, I'm naked here, just so I can be more agile, and I am using Howl of Shabriri just to increase my damage output, and that means that I would get one shot by most of her attacks. So I had to be very careful, I had to kite her quite a lot, barely got any melee hits in, and just kept doing that throughout the whole fight. It was flawless because of how careful I was, and it was not my first flawless victory against Malenia, but usually when I get a flawless victory against her, I play very carefully and just like maintain my distance and just like, attack her when I think is safe and all of that. However, my fastest kill was with the Rotten Radical, because I was very aggressive, but it was not flawless. So I can't wait till I have a flawless victory where I dominate her really fast and quickly. That's going to take a lot more practice, guys, because I'm working on multiple things in real life as well that are kind of related to the YouTube channel, and you will see what it is in due time. Anyways, back to the fight here for now. As you can see, I fully buff before we enter phase 2, and then I go for Elden Stars. Now, Elden Stars is really interesting because if you keep casting it, sometimes it will cancel her attack animation. Like right now, see, she was supposed to attack again, but she didn't. Like, she was supposed to do this part of the attack right there, the follow-up, but she didn't, because Elden Stars apparently is so annoying that it can cancel some of her attacks. Like in the middle of her animation, she'll just stop attacking. Like, she's going to do a follow-up, but she didn't, or doesn't. And that is mainly due to Elden Stars. But it can throw you off. Keep that in mind. It can be annoying because you're expecting her, to do a follow-up attack, and then when she doesn't, you kind of get used to it, and then she suddenly does it, and then it just throws you off. So do not rely on, I would say, on it too much unless you want to be super defensive. But it is a nice spell that you can cast from afar. However, Star Shower is much better. And as you can see, we're not doing too much damage. We're doing about 500 damage per cast, and I am fully charging it here. As you can see, again, we're only doing almost 500 damage. But I'm not sure what her resistance are like in this phase. She was taking more damage in phase 1. I would look into that eventually. And this is something else that I wanted to mention, is the fact that in the future, guys, probably maybe the next, it's not going to be in the next build guide, I would have about 9 build guides out. So maybe this is my 8th, I'm going to have one more, the 9th. So maybe the 10th or the 11th build guide is going to be a lot more informative. I'm going to try to learn some editing stuff for the video editing, of course, to make the videos more interesting and a lot more informative. We're going to discuss each boss, their resistances, their weaknesses, things like that. It might make it take a little bit longer, but I think it would really be important to understand why I fight each boss the way I do, even though right now I am simply just sharing my experience with you. Like, I'm trying out a build that comes to mind, I give it a go, and then I turn it into a build guide and tell you, and just share my experience, tell you how it all went down. Anyways, so as you can see here, we're having a pretty easy time against them. Um, I do use triple rings of light here a bit more than I should probably, but I just wanted to showcase how good the spell was and when to use it, and because it's not good all the time. Here, I didn't go for the critical hits. Sometimes I don't go for the critical hits because like I need to drink a flask, or I would rather go do something, like buff or do things that are gonna, increase my maybe survivability or anything like that, instead of just go for pure damage. Because this is not a pure damage dealing build. If you want one like that, I have a few, like the Death Dancer, and I will be making more, of course, like the Mad Mages eventually are gonna happen. What else do we have? So after easily dealing with God's Kun Duo, we move on to Dragon Lord plus Citisax. Again, for this boss, you want to cast Elden Stars whenever it's far away, and whenever you get close enough to use your other sorceries or incantations, that's when you use them. Like here, see, you want to probably run, and then I should have gone for, yeah, I did go for an Elden Stars, and that's what you should do as well. Like when you're far away, you go for that. And this chip damage, guys, it adds up, while you're using your other spells and dealing damage, you will realize that you're going to be breaking the boss's stance quite easily. As you can see, stance broken there. Of course, I do not go for the critical hit because I realized I was trying to continue casting. I mean, his head was pretty far. I'm pretty sure he was going to get back up before before I got that critical hit off. So I went for more spells, more sorceries. I believe that is the smartest thing to do. And here, as you can see, it was taking damage from both of my sorceries, or rather my sorcery and Ash of War, when he was midair. Because it's usually really hard to deal damage to him when he enters that phase transition part. But there are spells and incantations that are good and that will deal damage to him even when he's midair. And the nice thing again about Elden Stars, at least specifically against this boss, is when he starts teleporting like that, it will keep chasing him. Like Elden Stars knows where the boss is going. Even if it disappears and does all these little vanishing tricks, Elden Stars, you will see it just chasing him across the arena. And it just feels nice because it's kind of like letting you know where the boss is the entire time. As you can see, like, look, it's coming to it, it's here. If he disappears again, it's chasing him again. Look at that, you know where it is. It's, where Elden Stars is going. And that really helps out against this boss if you're struggling from his vanishing attack. I don't know what else to call it, the vanishing attack. Anyways, as you can see, we're almost done here. We're gonna end it right now with Founding Rain of Stars. I will go for my Ash of War, of course, the Glintlet Phalanx, and a few hits, and it's dead. Then we finally move on to, of course, Beast Clergyman, aka Malekith. And here, like his first phase, I just, tried kiting him a little bit, taking advantage of my Glintlet Phalanx. I try out Stars of Ruin just to show you how much damage it does. And as you can see, that was like almost 1k. Not that great. They need to do something to that sorcery, Stars of Ruin. Like it needs to at least deal massive voice damage or something, kind of like Glintlet Phalanx, Ash of War. Maybe that would justify the mana or / FP consumption that it has, but otherwise I would rather go for a Star Shower instead of Stars of Ruin. That is my personal opinion. Costs less and does probably a bit more damage. So there's no point of Stars of Ruin, but I use it just to showcase, to let you guys know how good it is at this point in the game. As you can see, 500 damage almost, not even almost, like 428. Even my actual war here that costs way less, uses barely any SP, does not use any of your stamina, and does more damage. Anyways, guys, here we finally finish it again with another Glintblade Phalanx with my favorite sorcery. And for the old man, well, guys, I just honestly, he pissed me off a few times in my previous playthroughs, so I thought I would just sit there and watch what happens to him. As you can see, almost 500 damage. But here, because he starts using this little incantations where you get near him, he'll blow up. I forgot what it's called, guys. He starts receiving a lot more damage from my Elden stars. And here he tried, tricking me. He thought he had me cornered, but I tricked him at the end and left. And again, back to Elden stars, as you can see, dealing like 1,700. Look at that. I just use it again and again and again. The only thing you know in your bones is you cannot survive Elden Stars, apparently. It was dealing a lot more damage than I thought it would to the old man. And finally, we're getting really close, guys, to the end. Godfrey first, Elden Lord, as you can see, easily stands broken phase 1. I did not critically hit him there, because like if you get the critical hit, if you go for it from his back, you don't do as much damage. So I don't know why that is, but oh well. Stance broken again here. As you can see, guys, you want to rush in. As you can see again, sorry. The Founding Rain of Stars, I cast it, he didn't react whatsoever. And that's not just with him, that's even with Malenia and almost every other boss that I fought that I can remember. Otherwise, just here towards the end in his second phase, I decided to just go for Glintblade Phalanx, as Glintblade Phalanx does massive poise damage in combination with Founding Rain of Stars. They're probably, my favorite two spells that I have at my disposal to use at the same time, and they are really useful against Haralu, because he just loves to run after you, chase you down throughout the entire arena, and he never lets off. So this is why I used the Glintblade Phalanx to finish him off and moved on to Redagon of the Golden Order. What I love about the Founding Rain of Stars here specifically, as you can see, whenever I cast it, Redagon does not go for that deflection ability that he has. He pretty much does not even notice it, therefore does not react to it. And this is not only with Redagon, even though it is most beneficial against Redagon, it is useful against every other boss. But we all know that Redagon again deflects spells and then shoots back lightning bolts, or those golden particles, whatever they were called. And that makes him a lot more annoying if you're a spellcaster, but not if you have Founding Rain of Stars. And Founding Rain of Stars, especially if you use it like this after a critical hit, it really makes a big difference, because that chip damage really adds up when you are using the Glintblade Phalanx, leading to quite a lot of stance breaks. So if you want to go for that, combine those two together and any boss will be stance broken quite easily. And right here, guys, as you just saw, I got unlucky there, and Redagon hits me with the final part of his attack. And however, because I am using some defensive talismans, I did not have to worry too much about it. And as I can tank, and that I did that intentionally due to the fact that I just wanted to get it over with, get Redagon and Elden Beast out of the way, pretty much so I could move on. Redagon almost kills me there, but I got completely lucky and got to move on to the Elden Beast. Anyways, I'm not gonna complain too much. I got lucky here, and here, guys, I spam the Glintblade Phalanx. At this point, I just wanted to finish the playthrough and move on to the next one, as I have a lot of things going on. So I spammed Glintblade Phalanx, but at the same time, it gave me a great opportunity to show you just how powerful this Ash of War is and how you can use it by itself to take out any boss in this game. Any boss. It just is such a good Ash of War if you want a stance break. And as you can see, guys, at the very end, when you stance break the Elden Beast, make sure that you are spamming Glibblade Phalanx like 2 or 3 times before you go for the critical hit. And then as soon as you go for the critical hit, you can probably use Glibblade Phalanx 1 or 2 more times before the Elden Beast kind of gets out of your way. And as you can see, stance broken. Again, I go for it twice here, 3 times, and then I miss. You see what I mean? I missed the critical hit. So do it right away if you want to get 3. If you feel like you started late, go for only 2 of the Glibblade Phalanx Ashes Born before going in for the critical hit. And here I would have died if I was not wearing defensive talismans, and this is why I was wearing defensive talismans for this boss. So there are some attacks that are just like really hard to avoid if you're not positioned properly from the very beginning. And that's about it, guys. As you can see, Glibblade Phalanx for the win, and we're pretty much gonna end it pretty soon now. So I really hope you all enjoyed the Starseeker build guide, and I will catch you all, guys, in the next one. I hope you're all having a great day. Take care and peace.